Listen very carefully because what you are about to hear might be the most surprising and game-changing update you've heard all year. And if you miss even a single detail, you could lose your chance to understand a major shift unfolding in the Iraqi currency landscape right now. So before we dive deep into this huge alert, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss critical updates like this one that directly impact global investors, currency watchers, and anyone following the long-discussed Iraqi dinar revaluation story. Now, let's go straight into what's sparking shockwaves in the financial community, because in recent months, Iraq's currency discussions have gone from quiet whispers to loud, unavoidable conversations, all triggered by a series of statements, hints, and policy discussions happening inside government circles and banking institutions, each pointing toward potential adjustments that could influence the IQD's future trajectory. Analysts who have monitored the dinar situation for years say that while rumors often circulate in the global currency space, this time the tone feels different because the comments emerging from financial committees and reform-focused departments are aligning with the economic overhaul Iraq has been working on since stabilizing oil production, strengthening its financial reporting systems, and working on updated digital banking frameworks. While no official public statement has confirmed a rate change, the fact that multiple agencies have started referencing upcoming policy shifts is enough to send the investment community into full analysis mode. And this is magnified by the fact that Iraq has been attempting to distance its economy from heavy dollar dependence, something that historically signals a desire for greater monetary independence. The mention of new reforms being prepared has pushed online discussions into overdrive, especially as observers compare Iraq's situation with Vietnam, where the Vietnamese Dong's activity and policy refinements recently created global ripples. Some believe Iraq could follow a comparable path, not by copying Vietnam, but by forming a regional pattern of economic repositioning as countries attempt to modernize and attract foreign capital. Another major factor feeding this momentum is Iraq's ongoing push to strengthen compliance with international banking standards, because countries rarely overhaul their financial systems without planning a bigger picture outcome. Many investors watching the IQD say that Iraq has quietly checked off several long-term reform goals that have been on the table for years, such as improving transparency, tightening border trade regulations, and encouraging legitimate private sector growth. When these components move in the right direction simultaneously, it often indicates that a government is preparing for deeper structural changes, and currency adjustments sometimes follow those developments. Although no one can guarantee a revaluation or confirm a timeline, the discussion around what makes this alert has been even more compelling is the way Iraq's officials have been openly discussing long-term financial restructuring, creating an atmosphere where investors feel they must stay one step ahead or risk missing out on early signals. And the tone of these discussions has noticeably shifted from defensive explanations to confident roadmaps. This is particularly interesting because for years Iraq's economic narrative has been dominated by stability challenges, inflation management, and dependency on external factors, yet the current wave of messaging suggests a renewed sense of control and direction. When banking authorities publicly mention improvement phases, currency strengthening mechanisms, or enhanced monetary flexibility, the international community pays attention, not because such statements guarantee a rate change, but because they rarely appear unless major groundwork has already been laid internally. One detail gaining attention is Iraq's attempt to increase liquidity management through stronger digital infrastructure, and financial experts say this matters because digital banking systems reduce fraud, support accurate auditing, and build trust with foreign investors, all of which are essential foundations for any country considering changes to its currency valuation policies. Another major development includes Iraq's push to expand its trade partnerships, particularly with neighboring countries eager to establish stable regional agreements, and trade dynamics often influence currency stability. What truly intensifies speculation is the timing, because these economic advancements are happening as global markets prepare for possible international policy shifts in 2025, when many regions are expected to update their economic frameworks to adapt to changing oil markets, supply chain realignments, and currency diversification trends. Some analysts argue that Iraq sees 2025 as an opportunity to reposition itself as a stronger financial player in the Middle East, especially as countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE expand their digital finance ecosystems. Iraq may want to avoid being left behind during this modernization wave, and that could push policymakers to consider braver steps regarding the dinar. The comparison to Vietnam continues to appear in financial commentary, not because Iraq mirrors Vietnam's structure, but because both countries are in phases of recalibrating their economic identities. Vietnam's recent improvements boosted its currency presence on the global stage, and observers wonder if Iraq could achieve something similar once internal reforms settle. Market watchers also point out that Iraq has been more consistent in addressing corruption-related issues in government-linked sectors, and when transparency rises, market confidence naturally follows. Increased confidence leads to stronger foreign interest, and stronger interest raises pressure on policymakers to consider currency reforms that reflect
as we move
deeper economic unfolding story. The bigger question becomes whether Iraq is positioning itself for a calculated long-term currency adjustment, and while no official confirmation has been made, the observable patterns strongly suggest that something major is brewing behind the scenes, creating unprecedented anticipation. Historically, when a country strengthens institutional structures, modernizes regulatory systems, enhances its banking environment, and improves cross-border trade metrics all within a concentrated time period, it typically indicates preparation for broader economic steps. Iraq's recent pace of improvement fits this trend more than any previous phase in the past decade, especially considering its push to regulate currency auctions, digitize financial channels, and align with international monetary compliance requirements. Another telling sign is Iraq's ongoing effort to stabilize its domestic market by controlling cash leakage, limiting unofficial currency exchange practices, and promoting stronger oversight of private banking operations. These moves indicate that the government wants a more predictable financial environment, something essential for any future currency decision. What amplifies global interest is the storyline emerging from economic advisors who continue to speak about Iraq's long-term vision rather than short-term fixes, suggesting that policymakers are thinking strategically, not reactively. When a country frames its economic progress within a long-term vision, currency policy becomes part of that vision, directly or indirectly. Observers also highlight that Iraq is trying to build confidence internationally by showing that it can manage its resources responsibly while opening the door to foreign partnerships, and this combination often leads to increased pressure from investors seeking an exchange rate that better reflects economic growth. The talk surrounding 2025 remains speculative, yet the reason it persists is because so many reform milestones are expected to solidify by then, and if those milestones are reached, Iraq could find itself in a stronger negotiating position within global finance discussions. Meanwhile, global markets continue to evolve, and countries across Asia and the Middle East are racing to modernize their currency frameworks, meaning Iraq might see this as the ideal moment to enhance the IQD's standing. While nothing is guaranteed, the alignment of reforms, timing, and international attention creates a unique environment where the possibility of a major shift feels more realistic than previous cycles of rumor-driven speculation. Investors and longtime followers of the IQD story are treating current developments as the most intriguing phase in years,